Well, so what I'm going to start with is the teaching portion, in which I'm going to share my screen. You can read what's on the screen, and I'll just talk a little bit about what's actually on there before we get into the meat and potatoes of this webinar. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen. All right, so in the next 90 minutes or so, I'm just going to be introducing you to the background about the founder. His name is Lester Levinson, and you can see in the lower portion of the screen share the story of Lester Levinson. Then I will introduce to you the 3 steps of releasing. And then once we've covered that, I will then do a group release in which it's a general release. Everyone just follows along, and you just resonate and respond to the questions as they pertain to whatever's going on within you. Then I'll open the floor for questions, for sharing, or if anyone wants one-on-one questions to experience being facilitated with releasing. And then follow that up with announcements and finishing with a closing group release, okay? So, yep, I mentioned about the recording, and I think that's going to be fine. We've gone over Zoom. So just the story of Lester Levinson. So Lester was a very successful businessman, and he was a successful physicist. He got many awards for his intelligence. And at the age of 42, when he had a second heart attack, and he also had multiple health issues, back in 1952, the medical system isn't what it's like today. The doctors basically told him, go home, you only have, the most maybe a week, 2 weeks to live, go home and settle your affairs. So he returned home, and being a scientist and very, very smart man, he was thinking, like, the doctors can't help me. There's got to be something I can do. And because he was so weak, he just lay in bed and he started to contemplate his life in terms of, like, why have I come to this? What's been going on? And he started to use the lab approach about analyzing and looking for patterns. As he started seeing a pattern in the times in his life where he was unhappy and things weren't going so well, and he noticed that that was related to when he wasn't loving. And that when he was loving, his life actually went quite smoothly. Then he noticed that there was so much about the world he wanted to change. He disliked the government. He wanted to change the way people behaved. He didn't like the weather. And so he realized that there was a large part of him that wanted to change everything. And so he started looking at, well, what happens if I stop wanting to change all these things? And then he started noticing his fear of dying, the fear of survival. Or it's a wanting for survival, it's the fear of dying. And he noticed that every aspect in his past, he always seemed to have this fear of dying. And he started experimenting and letting go on that. And what he found was he was starting to get healthier, happier, stronger, more energetic. He didn't need it. In 3 months, he actually cured himself of his heart condition, and all his other ailments started to disappear. So then he started exploring this a bit more and sharing it with people. And he came up with what he called it the method. And he moved from New York to Arizona, to Sedona, in which he started to share even more and more. And then that's how the releasing method came about. Lester actually lived for another 42 years. And he was healthy, he was successful, and this method called releasing is shared worldwide now. And I came across it about 6 years ago, and it really changed my life a lot, which is why I'm so passionate about it and wanting to share it with anyone who wants to learn it. So the 3 simple steps of releasing is, first of all, you ask yourself, what am I feeling? And for feeling, lots of people, some people say they can't feel. But the trick to feeling is to drop into your body. Some people close their eyes, some people drop their head down, and they just notice sensations in their body. That's the first step to feeling. Some people feel really easily, and they might just feel it. I was someone who couldn't identify feelings many years ago, and I had to really concentrate on, oh, there's that sensation there. Okay, what is that? Okay, just feel that, because I was always in my head. But that has really turned around since I started releasing. The second step is identifying. So I'll leave this up there so you can read it while I'm talking. The second step is identifying what the want is. There are three basic wants: wanting for approval, wanting for control, and wanting for safety. These are in everyone. And you can let go of the feeling, but you actually move a lot more energy when you actually let go of the wanting. So this is what Lester discovered, the three basic wants, which is why when he let those go, his body started feeling lighter and more healthy. So with wanting for approval, it can be interchanged with the word love. Often it shows up as disapproval. Either you're disapproving of someone else or disapproving of yourself. That's when we beat ourselves up, when we've done something and we so why did I do that? How stupid of me type comments. That wanting for approval shows up as judgment or criticism. Wanting for control is the same as wanting for change. And it shows up as resistance. When you're resisting what is or something that's going on in your life or around you. That's a wanting for control or change. Wanting for safety or security or survival. That's when we have a lot of unsafe feelings being stirred up. And that is seen as fear. And for Lester, he saw that, experienced that as the fear of dying. And in the releasing world, the word wanting or want is lacking. Because we've been taught growing up is, you should focus on what you want. But actually, this is where the word has different meanings. So with releasing, if you just keep in mind that when we say wanting, it's because you feel a sense of lacking. If you have something, you're not going to actually want it. You can't want and have at the same time. So by letting go of the wanting is what you're letting go. You're not actually letting go of the love or the control or the safety. It's as you let go of that energy of the lacking that's attached to it, then you'll experience something different. Okay? And then the third step is just asking yourself, could I let it go? A lot of our patterns are subconscious material, and studies have shown that we generally operate about roughly 95% subconscious, 3 to 5% of conscious. So conscious is what you know, your habits and behaviors. You're going to go, oh, I did that again. That's actually subconscious information, programs, habits, cellular memories in your body. So you want to use your conscious mind, listening to your heart if you can, to decide to let it go. So those are the three basic steps. Okay? Releasing is as simple as letting a balloon go. For children, when you teach children to meditate, often you tell them whatever thought they're having, put it in a balloon and just send it off to the sky. Or if you think about the clouds in the sky are constantly moving. That's just like our thoughts and our feelings. They're meant to be moving. They're not, but we tend to hold on to them, and that's how they get stuck in our body. And then it creates the tension and anxiety and maybe upset stomach and constipation can, just all kinds of bodily symptoms can come up by holding on to thoughts and feelings. If we can let them move through us, just like how the clouds move through the sky and let the sun shine through. On a rainy day, there's clouds, but they're constantly moving. That's the same as our thoughts and our feelings. So I just have 2 tips for learning the method, is letting go of any ideas or beliefs about letting go. Releasing is a natural process. Think about children. They release the fastest and the easiest. Think about times when you've seen 2 kids arguing and there's like, or I hate you, you're not my friend anymore. or even my own son telling me, I hate you. And then minutes later, they're hugging you and loving you and they're playing. And as adults, we look at them and say, like, how did they get over that? And that's because they're so in the moment and they naturally let go. They very seldom hold on to things. What happens is as the brain develops and social programming, we start learning, or we start believing that we're supposed to hold on to these things and create all these belief systems, which can be called programs, data, habits within our body. And as we grow up, they help us to get through to adulthood, but eventually we discover they're not helping us anymore. And that's why releasing is so powerful, because it helps to reverse all of these beliefs so you can return back to that natural state of just letting go at any moment, at any time. It's like, most of you know, I think I'm a physio, so it's the same thing. We teach exercises. I'm constantly telling our clients, you need to practice those exercises. You have to practice turning on your core, or you need to practice stabilizing your shoulder blades, or that's at least what I'm telling my clients. And it's the same thing here. You can just let go at any moment. In the beginning, you have to practice it. And teach yourself to consciously decide, I can let this go, or let go some of it, or hold on to it, and that's okay too. But it's all of that, allowing the feelings and the thoughts to be there first, which is part of the first step of releasing. So the second tip I have is, don't try to figure it out. The mind, that's what the mind does. The mind is really good at analyzing things, trying to figure it out, trying to understand and have all the answers. And that served all of us, for many years, even for me, and I'm still working this out, but I don't spend as much time anymore analyzing or thinking about things. When you let go of trying to figure things out or understand them, it's not that you won't understand them, but you save yourself so much energy just by letting go. When I let go of having to figure it out, because I spent my whole lifetime feeling that way, it was like a burden was released off my shoulders, that I wasn't holding myself accountable anymore to figure things out. But that didn't mean I couldn't, that I had to stop. I could still get understanding, but it came so much naturally. It's like what people call intuition. The answers come to you more easily when our mind isn't so busy trying to figure it out. Okay, so those are the tips for releasing. So what I'd like to do now is I'm going to do an opening group cleanup, and then following that, I'm going to open the floor for questions and question and answering and sharing of what you experience possibly during the group cleanup. And when you're sharing, you don't have to share anything personal. What's more important, if you want one-on-one releasing, is to share the feeling and then feel into the wanting, and I'll help you with that. Okay, so I'm just going to stop sharing the screen here. Okay. All right. So everyone, I'm just going to invite you to take some nice, slow, deep breaths. And just notice your breath. And just relax your body into whatever it is that your body's resting on, whether you're lying down or sitting. Just allow your body to get comfortable. And just take a couple more nice, slow, deep breaths. And as best as you can, just drop into your body and just feel whatever's there. And just notice where it is and just allow it to be. Let go of any trying to figure it out, why these sensations are here. Just allow those sensations to be as they are. We're going to explore first the wanting for control and change. Just notice if there's any resistance to being here, to being at this webinar. Notice if there's any wanting to change or control anything about this call, about Zoom, about the video, anything you want to change about what you see, anything about me, my hair, my earrings, my clothes, the background. Just notice if there's any wanting to change or control anything that you're seeing, anything that you're hearing so far. And if there is, could you just let that go as best as you can? Letting go can be as simple as like holding a pen in your hand. Think of this as the wanting or the feelings, and we're holding on to them and they're attached. All you have to do is decide, I'm just going to open and let it go. So just open up that area wherever those sensations are. Imagine a window or a door and just open and breathe out and allow those energies of lacking and wanting and anything else just to move through you, just like the wind blowing through the window. And just check, is there any wanting to change circumstances around you? Things that are happening in the world that's stirring up a wanting to change or control the future, control the outcome of this pandemic. Is there any wanting to change what's happening in your world, be it your finances, job, security, school, or just as simple as wanting someone to help you out at home? To let go of that wanting to change or control. To let go of any resistance to what is, just for now in this moment. And is there anything about yourself or another person that you're wanting to change or control? In this moment, could you just allow that person to be? Let go of wanting to change him or her. And if it's something you want to change about yourself, in this moment too, could you just allow yourself to be as you are and let go of wanting to change it? Sometimes we feel like we're being controlled by another person or a situation like COVID-19. We're all at home in isolation, but there's lots of people still roaming around. For some of us, we might feel like we're being controlled by it or by a person. So remember, it's that lacking energy, that sense of feeling like you're being controlled. So you feel like you don't have any control. So could you let go of any wanting? It's a subconscious wanting. And the subconscious, you don't know that it actually exists because it's in our tissues and it comes from the past. Could you let go of any subconscious wanting to be controlled by another person or a situation or an event? Just open and set all those energies free. Yeah, just let it all go. So we're going to dive a little deeper and look at the wanting for approval, the wanting for love. This is something that we learn as a child. So just notice, if there's anyone you're wanting approval or love from, could you let go of wanting their approval or wanting their love? What happens often is we keep wanting it from someone else, and then we end up feeling disappointed. Could you give yourself some love and approval? Instead of looking for it from someone else, how about giving yourself some love and approval? Because you can. Could you give yourself as much love and approval as you can. And if you can't, just notice that. And maybe just give yourself a little bit. Maybe 5 seconds worth or 2 seconds worth. Whatever you're able to do, that you just give yourself some love and approval. And just notice if there's someone that you disapprove of. Maybe you don't like what they said, you don't like their behavior, which went back to wanting control or change. This goes deeper now. There's a disapproval, an energy being sent out to someone else. So just for now, could you let go of disapproving of that other person? And if it's a situation or an event, could you just let go of disapproving of that situation or event? And be open and welcome the universal love that's available to all of us, but often we push it away. Can we just be open and welcome it? Now we'll dive down deeper into the wanting for safety, wanting for security, wanting for survival. Just notice if there's anything happening around you that makes you feel unsafe, you feel insecure. It could be the COVID-19. It could be another medical condition, general health. It could be your finances or job security. Or just even driving. Some people feel really scared when they're just out driving in the streets. This is a fear that comes from our past, usually from our childhood. This wanting for safety and security. Could you just welcome it and then just open and let it go? Allow these energies to move out of your body. Just lovingly send them away. And could you let go of any remaining wanting for safety and security and open to the universal safety that's all around us and is within us. But often we don't feel safe. Our mind tells us stories that we're not safe. And just open and let it go as best as you can. And as you let go of more and more of these energies, your body will start to feel lighter. You feel a little more at ease, a little more calmer. Could you just rest in that calm, in that lightness, that ease, and allow it to expand. And expand it some more, and some more, and some more. Okay, I'm just going to pause the recording now. Recording that. Thank you, everyone. We did finish early. Thank you for attending. Thank you for your interest. And if you have any other questions, I welcome them now. You're welcome, Kim and Jane, Marianne. Thank you, everyone. Really, I really appreciate you showing up today and allowing me to share my passion with you. And you can come and see me for physiotherapy as well. Sandy, you're welcome. Thank you, Marianne. Marianne, and to everyone. I just want to let you know, since we've got a bit of time here. Let me just going to share my screen again. So this is, you'll just get a sense of what you experience. Part of releasing, there we have what's called the scale of emotions. Okay, so you can see apathy, grief, fear, lust, anger, pride. And I've drawn, there's a line drawn here. So this, the acronym, we call it AGFLAP. These are all are what are called sort of low vibration energies. And often we move through the scale from apathy, grief, fear, lust, anger to pride. When you release, or when you're disturbed, feeling anything that's, when you're not feeling peaceful, you're likely going to be anywhere along this scale of apathy, grief, fear, lust, anger, pride. When you release, and so for those of you who sort of felt lighter, easier, calmer, what was happening is you were then moving into courageousness. Oh, peace is supposed to be over here. Courageousness, acceptance, and peace. These are the higher frequency energies. So part of being vulnerable or being able to decide to release is your courage. That's natural within us, to have that courage to let go, which then moves more into acceptance and then into peace. Those are the higher scale frequencies. The 6 basic steps of releasing, these are the rules that were given to me, was you must want freedom or imperturbability. Imperturbability means where you're not disturbed, where you're all loving, where no thing or nothing can disturb you. That's basically the definition of unconditional love or neutrality. You must want freedom more than you, or perturbability, more than you want approval, control, or safety. So that's why if you put step 1 into place, if you want to feel peaceful and undisturbed, you need to have to want that more than you want approval, control, or safety. Therefore, decide to let go, decide to do a method, decide to release and be imperturbable. I mentioned this earlier in the webinar. See all your feelings accumulate into 3 wants. And those are the 3: for approval, control, or safety. Immediately let go of the wants. And I did mention that there is the wanting separation. And this was something that sort of, when you've gone into releasing a bit more, you'll feel more there's another want, but it's often not taught at an introductory level. Make releasing constant. So this is where in any moment, you can just, if you're feeling disturbed, just say, well, what am I wanting right now? Am I wanting to control, prove? Am I wanting approval or safety? And just say, can I just let that go? And just let it go. And if you are stuck, allow the stuckness to be. Because when we're stuck, we're wanting to change it. You don't want to be stuck. So that's actually kind of flipping you back to wanting control or change. So just for that moment, could you just allow the stuckness to be there? Allow yourself to feel it. Let go of wanting to do anything with it. And each time you release, you will be lighter, happier, more at ease. When you release continually, you'll continue to be lighter, happier, and freer. And so for those of you who are releasing, if this is what you experience, keep on releasing and you will start feeling lighter, happier, and freer. I'm an evidence of it. There was a time when I thought nothing's going to change, and then suddenly everything just flipped. And that is why I'm so passionate about this. Just as I am passionate about being a physio and doing the other work that I do, love my job. So just as a quick reminder, you can call the clinic for a telehealth discovery session. That's free. Or you can book a private session with me, 30 minutes. We can go longer. That's possible too. And that's covered through physiotherapy insurance. And come back next week, 10:30 on Saturday, where we can release more and explore. And you can share maybe your experience of practicing, right? yourself or family members. All right. Well, thank you again.
Thank you, Donna. I want to acknowledge you as well, my friend. You know, if the highest energy, maybe even were love, I think you exude that very, very much. So thank you.
Thank you, JR. Thank you. You too. For your love and support. I really, really appreciate it. And that's the beauty that also comes out of releasing. Every time I release, I feel so much more gratitude and appreciation. Okay, I think we covered those. Oh, one new message. Yes, Kim, it is. You have physiotherapy insurance, certified, registered. I'm a registered physiotherapist, and I combine releasing actually with physiotherapy treatment. So I have patients to come see me for whatever conditions there are, and I treat them as if any other physio would. And if emotions come up during our session, then I usually, ask the person what's going on and see if they want to try something. And then I just do very basic introduction to releasing. Yeah. Great.
And we will put Donna's notes and the recording on the website, probably under the What's New section. I'm sure you've all gathered I'm not a tech genius, so it may take a few days, but we will get that up there as quickly as we can.
Thank you, Sharon. You have a wonderful weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all mothers out there, and happy Father's Day. It doesn't have to be just Mother's Day. So we've got 4 minutes left, JR. I'm happy to stay on here if anyone wants to stay on and ask any further questions. And sometimes just sitting in silence is very healing as well. I should say sometimes, it always is. And if you don't feel the silence, you can just let it.
Not to break the silence, Donna, but since there's no questions and a few people left, I will just mention to the folks who are still here that I asked Donna to do a releasing with me. The COVID situation stressed the clinic out, obviously, and I was scared because we have a big team of people who get their paychecks from the clinic, and not that I was experiencing a lot of pain, but I knew I had stress, and I was amazed how quickly Donna took me through the releasing steps and how much I did attach fear, wanting to control the situation, wanting to be accepted by teammates. It was profound. And yet within a few minutes, like Chris said, I felt lighter. It was pretty amazing to just with some gentle questioning and redirecting some of my thoughts, feelings, emotions, how it changed that energy to something that was so much more positive.
Thank you for sharing that, JR. You didn't tell me that before. So thank you. I mean, I'm just so passionate about this, JR. You already know that. And I'm so happy to be able to offer it to whoever is interested. Okay, there's just you and me, or is there, oh no, there's still 10 participants. Okay, so JR, shall I end the call now?
I think so.
Thank you, everyone. And Thank you, JR, and I'll see you whenever.
Nice. Take care. Bye-bye.
A lovely weekend. Bye.